What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 688. I am your host, Stevie V, alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm really well. How are you?
Really good, really good. Thank you so much. Joining us, of course, Cody Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. Doing well. Love this.
Nice. Just really quick, you're in Atlanta and went to the Eagle out in Atlanta. What was that like?
Wow, it was so much fun. I'm here visiting my family. They wanted to do something for my birthday. So I saw there was an event at the Eagle this weekend, but I put it out of my mind. I was like, okay, it's fine. It's family time. And then my cousin came over. She's a lesbian, and she wanted to take us out. And she said, there's an event here at this place we love to go to. It's called the Eagle. And I said, oh my God, this is perfect.
Oh, that's great. Was it a good time?
Oh my God, we had such a good time just partying with the girls. They saw some things that I didn't think that they were going to be able to see in the Eagle, but it's fine. It's all good. And we actually ran into a listener there. Shout out to Sugary Daddy.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it was fun. We got to see a lot of people. I enjoyed actually getting to see him in person. And there's this one guy that was in an apron. He has an apron like you, Steve. His booty was out. I want him to hit me up just in case, because I wasn't able to get his number. So if you're listening to this, sir, call me.
If you were at the Eagle Saturday night in Atlanta wearing that apron, hit Cody up at Mr. Maurice.
That's right, baby.
I love it. All right. Well, we do things a little bit different now. We're going to get into hot topics towards the end, but we are starting with some topics that really affect our community here. And this was a whole study. 71% of gay men in the UK are uncomfortable with public displays of affection. Queer people in the UK are less comfortable making public displays, according to a YouGov poll, where they surveyed over 3,000 UK residents that found that 71% of gay men, 66% of lesbian women, and 30% of bisexual men avoid showing affection to their partners in public to avoid discrimination. That was kind of the main reason many people in the UK avoided it. Some might have other reasonings, because I've gone to London before where people have said, people in the UK just don't show a lot of affection. So who knows if it's that kind of thing. But it is kind of an interesting topic. We've been talking a lot about on this show of how we were robbed. Many of us were robbed of really trying to be who we really wanted to be. Cody and I were talking about not being able to go to the prom with like a man, a boy at the time. Curious, Jeremy, did you go to your prom? And if you did, who did you go with?
So I went to one of them, and I went with just one of my close friends. But
a girl?
A girl. I only had girlfriends when I was in high school and elementary school. But I didn't go to like the junior or senior proms.
Okay, so you just avoided them altogether.
Yeah, and I went to a bunch of other schools that girls asked me to be their date to. So I did end up getting enough prom and like dressing up in tuxedos and that stuff. So I kind of got it out of my system and just wasn't interested in my own at the end of the day.
Were you out at that time?
Yes.
Okay, you were. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Were there other gay boys that you knew of at the time?
There were, but I feel like they also went with women too. I don't remember any same-sex couples like going together as each other's dates at any of my proms.
I mean, that's really good that you were out and comfortable with so many of your girlfriends. On the other hand, one of these topics, like when you hear 71% of gay men are uncomfortable with PDA, that can be a personal choice, but it can also be that we didn't have examples. We didn't walk down. I remember in high school seeing couples freely walk down if they were hooked up with somebody, showing their affection And a lot of us didn't get to do those types of things. So we transfer that now to our adulthood. I'm curious, Cody, when you've been in relationships, do you like to show PDA when you're in public, or are you more like this study suggests?
So in my mind, I'm more like this. The study suggests it kind of makes me uncomfortable because, like you said, when you are out and about, if you haven't seen examples of two men holding hands or showing affection to one another, then it's not ingrained in your brain that that's normal. So automatically, you want to feel. I felt like it was not normal for two men to be holding hands out in public in the street. But I have thought about it and had therapy around it and really just come to my own conclusions that I need to force myself to do it because I need to be the example for other people to know and to normalize two men holding hands, being affectionate to one another out there in the world. So I really force myself to actually be affectionate because it's like my nature to be affectionate to the person that I love. So why am I fighting that?
Yeah, it's interesting because in many ways, I think it depends. I hear the safety concerns that the study is suggesting and that we've mentioned on this show that are real, that I think you need to be aware of those concerns. We've reported on plenty of stories of people being have homophobic attacks, even in neighborhoods. So it's something you have to just be aware of and not, be totally oblivious to that. On the other hand, I probably would have been more like this study before, but in my current relationship with my fiance, he's very affectionate with me walking down the street. He'll put his arm around me and I love it, and or grab my hand and I just go with it. It makes sense at the time. Granted, we're often walking in a neighborhood, Chelsea, but we're very comfortable showing that kind of affection. But we do it in the grocery store often, and it's just really nice. And to your point, Cody, it's like an example, I think, to show, yeah, we should be able to show our love and affection for each other. I mean, I don't think going overboard is what people need to see either. And making out, you know, is probably not something I'm going to do. But Jeremy, how are you with Kevin with PDA, and how does that relate to, say, what the UK is showing in terms of not a lot of people showing public displays of affection?
I feel like in the time and the place, I'm comfortable with it, and I don't mind it, but I'm not like all over him at the same time. I definitely put my hand on his shoulders or like give him a peck or like I don't know, just like comforting ways, but not like super aggressive or like just all over him or like making out with people watching. That's never been my thing. But for
Yeah.
me, I try not to think a lot about it and just try to act normal and as I would in any setting. So just like short kisses and things like that are normal, and I don't really think about the setting that I'm in, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's ultimately, I think you have to make the decision that's right for you. I love the idea of being an example and just being free to be you. But like I stated before, you have to be aware of homophobia that does exist in certain parts and even in major cities as well. But I think it's nice to be able to show that. And we were talking, Cody, about pocketing, that term that in our
Mhm.
last episode, which is the concept of I'm posting about our relationship on social media, but you're never posting about it at all. And I never meet any of your friends when you meet all of my friends. And it's this silent way of, are you trying to hide me? Well, PDA is another form, I think, of not if being proud of who you're with. And
Yeah.
all these things, I think, as queer relationships, we have to kind of think about a little bit and see how they work. Not only how you feel about it, but how does your partner feel about it? And they're just extra things that, our relation make our relationships a little bit different. Okay, moving on to another topic that I was interested when somebody had written into a site and said, "My chubby chaser boyfriend doesn't want me to lose weight. Do I need to choose between my health and my relationship. They basically wrote, I'm a chubby daddy bear who tends to attract younger chasers. 3 years ago, I started dating a guy who told me I was everything he'd ever envisioned in a partner, and they quickly fell in love. During the first year, he often said I had the perfect body, like many do in new relationships. I put on a few extra pounds, which he loved, but that extra weight eventually started causing me pain when I walked. Still, he
Mm.
began talking more about fattening me up. So, since they've had a lot of conversations about his feeder gainer fantasies, last year I started taking medication for weight loss, which is a required step before I can have a knee replacement surgery. I made it clear I love myself. I'm not trying to get thin. I just want to be pain free. But he can't stop obsessing over my weight loss. Even though I'm still chubby and still turn him on, I can tell he's losing interest in being intimate. I've suggested therapy, but he says his kink isn't something that can be changed. And I'm worried that once I go through with the surgery, our relationship might be over. This is crazy, but I guess when you do fall for somebody and they like a certain thing about you, in this case, he mentioned it, kink, and they seem to both agree on that. And when that kink is diminishing in front of his eyes, does he have a point, or is he putting too much emphasis on the kink and not the person? Remains the question, Jeremy.
I would say too much emphasis on the kink and not enough on just his relationship that he's already established. I feel like the person needs to worry about their health and obviously like their surgery and everything that's coming up for them. And I find that that's definitely more important than what turns the partner on, uh, like just health wise. And he also sounds like someone that if he wants to put on the weight, he could. So I think that his health is more important and he should focus on that and maybe try and have the discussion with the partner because it sounds like the partner is really hyper focused on that specific kink rather than like his partner's well-being and his health, which I find a lot more important.
Yeah, it's like, do you want me to be around for the long haul here? Because at this rate, I'm not going to be, not to mention, I'm not going to be able to walk because
Yeah.
he needs to. I have a friend that is going to have knee replacement surgery. And it's true, you do have to get to a certain weight. Because when you start going, you want to alleviate a lot of that pain. And especially when you have the surgery, because then you have to almost retrain yourself to walk again. And having all that extra weight is not going to be a good thing. But Cody, having all that weight in general isn't a healthy thing for the long haul. And is this guy just being short sighted?
Definitely. This person's health is way more important than any kink or fantasy or aesthetic that somebody wants to push upon anybody else. I don't think that that's uh, what a healthy relationship is based on when you really focus on the outer shell and not who the person is on the inside. And furthermore, I feel like when your partner is too insistent on your physical appearance, like you have to make yourself happy at the end of the day. I don't think it's okay for your partner to think that they have sway over how you can look or what you look like on the outside. I just think that's like a red flag for me personally.
Yeah, it's funny. The whole time when I was reading this originally, I was thinking, yeah, body and body image are all things that go into a relationship. Personally, you might go into a relationship being single and you might be working out a ton. And believe me, when I started to get into my relationship here, we started cooking and we started making bread, a lot of bread stuff and ice cream, and we were ordering desserts. And my fiance Diego is, thin as a rail and gets like 20,000 steps from at his work, so he's fine. I, on the other hand, was like, this can't is not sustainable for me. Tack on that, I'm in my 50s, which weight in that mid region just doesn't go away as easy. And so we've started changing the way we cook more. And I've gotten him into healthier ways of cooking, and we're really enjoying it. And I'm, of course, now back at exercising a lot, but it can change when you're in a relationship. Basically, your image and what you think about your image. In this case, though, I think I would go to therapy because I would ask this partner in therapy, do you want to get to know me? Or are you more, like you both said, into this image of me, this size? That's more important. This is not a fetish that is. There's a story that we were going to do a little bit later about a Redditor that wants to know when to bring up his kink. And guess what his kink is? He just likes socks, like the guy's socks. And that's a pretty easy one. And there was a Dan Savage says, oh, yeah, with a kink like that, bring it up in the third or fourth date. But that's really innocent, I think. And a lot of people have that one. It doesn't have anything to do with health at all, really. It's just kind of a fun kink. This one is someone's health. And
Yeah.
I would bring that up in therapy. Do you like me? And do you want to continue to like me? Because I won't be here forever if I continue at this size. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just interesting things to consider. But good luck on that because I'm not sure that this is the right person for you, to be honest. All right. Well, we have to talk. Recently, there was a whole thread of conversations going on about gays revealing their worst hookups, everything from filthy bathrooms, $3,000 stolen, and sex toys at the doctor's office were some of the topics that came to mind. With 14.5 million active monthly users on Grindr and millions more on Sniffies, gay hookup culture is basically the way many of us have our sultry late night rendezvous. But sometimes they can, when people share, I'll read you a few. Here's what John said in San Francisco. Brought a guy home, and during our post coital tussle, when I took off my pants, my wallet fell out. He took it, probably out of revenge for calling off the assassination. I'm not sure what that means, but
Me either.
he withdrew 3,000 from my bank account. At the time,
Girl, what?
banks were still figuring out how to handle debit card schemes, so I was liable for the loss. I had to get the money from my credit card company just so I had something in my account. To make matters worse, my supposedly intelligent friends couldn't comprehend while the theft would concern me and give me pause. Their advice was, you need to get back on the horse. Getting robbed is just a part of being sexually active. What?
What?
I know.
Who
Um,
said that?
yeah, somebody said, I met a guy on Sniffies, went to his apartment. I had to pee when I got there, so I asked to use the bathroom. He said I could, went inside, flipped on the light. The sink and countertop were covered with hair, wet towels on the floor. The mirror was absolutely filthy. Oh no, Jeremy,
Oh,
that's a worst nightmare for you. I know.
wow.
I have to say, when I've gone to worst hookup stories, when I've thought of them, a lot of them had to do with using their bathroom, and it was just really, mine's not always pristine, and you can't necessarily always eat in there, but I especially now that I live with somebody, I have gotten so much better. It's like pretty clean all the time, and it's just important to me. But if I was having somebody over, I would do a quick once over clean. I'm surprised at the people that are comfortable going in your bathroom. I went to a brunch a few weeks ago, and there was three people, two women and a guy. Some people say women are the worst too, though, in the bathrooms. And I went in there and I was like, this toilet needs cleaning. And I was
Yeah.
getting brunch, so I scrubbed my hands just because I was like, yeah, that to me is but also the way people don't pick up after. I've gone into really like, are you okay? Like, I want to ask them, are you okay? Like, what's going on in your life? Like, seriously, there's stuff everywhere. It's kind of like, and it's almost as though, where would you even start to clean this place up? And they're comfortable
Wow.
inviting you in. Those are probably
Wow.
my worst scenarios, other than maybe meeting somebody that they didn't add up to their picture. And I was just like, oh God, oh God. And I'm having this conversation in my mind, like, don't do it, Steve. Just say you got to go, and then I just go, I'm sorry, I got to go, and I run out. But Jeremy, any worst hookup stories that you can relate to that are shared like these people?
I mean, I feel like they're almost exactly the same as these people, where the bathrooms are just like really filthy or like just untidy rooms and stuff like that, like just lots of shit around, or I don't know, just spending, like, if you invite someone over and they've spent way too long in your bathroom and you're like, what the hell are you doing in there?
Oh yeah.
They're
Definitely had
douching.
I've definitely had those type of situations before, and it's funny, we were talking this weekend about when I lived in New York, I was definitely less organized, and just I think living in a tighter space and owning lots of stuff, I was definitely more of a messy person, not necessarily like filth or any
Right.
food or anything like that, but just having too much stuff in a small space. And the second that I moved back to Massachusetts, I swear could not be like I could be more organized, but I'm definitely like I tidy up all day, every day. Like I do it at my boyfriend's house. I do it at home. It's just like I've gotten so much more uh just more organized and more clean than when I lived in New York for sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes a move like that to just change your. It took. I was always not messy, but I could let it go because it was just me here. But now I
Yeah.
feel like I live with somebody. There's two of us here. We take up more space. I'm constantly tidying up too, as well. I just think, yeah. But what about you, Cody? Nightmare horror stories? I know you're out there in these streets these days. What's
I
something you
sure
could
am.
share on a
I
worst hookup?
You know
It
what?
doesn't
I
have to be
really
their apartment. It could just be them or
Well, it's always related to the sex with me. Oh my gosh. Well, that was in a club that I hooked up with this guy. He just painted me, and oh my, I can't believe I'm going to say this on air. And then I hooked up with his brother, and he also painted me too. So that was just wild to me. Um,
oh,
in the
okay. I
same
know.
night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
You mean a messy situation?
A messy situation, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was very
Wow.
interesting to say the least. But then, so the whole unclean apartment thing. If I went to somebody's apartment and it was dirty, I would not fuck them. I'm sorry. It's no ass is worth me being there in that situation to where to have to endure that messy house. So I've left before. I'll leave again. And the whole. Can we talk about getting somebody getting robbed for $3,000 and his friends saying that that was normal? I think
I
that's
know,
absolutely
that's definitely
insane.
not normal, like whatsoever.
Yeah. And why are you keeping $3,000 just lying around? I
Oh
don't
no,
trust.
he stole his debit
Oh,
card
that's
and took
right.
it
Yeah.
out
Thank
of
you.
his bank account.
Right.
That's wild. I would never. I sometimes I leave my like my banking stuff. I leave my wallet in the house if I'm going over somebody's house that's like that lives close to me, because you never know what people are going to do. And I just think that's
Yeah.
insane. I would have sued him till kingdom come because that I could never abide by
And
that.
we, as your friends, would not say get over it and move
Thank
on.
you.
And yeah, we would be mad as well. So just for the record,
Yeah, that's too much. So if y'all are
yeah,
out here getting stolen from, don't let it happen. Don't normalize that shit.
yeah, exactly. Okay, another topic I wanted to talk. It's the age-old question of straights or women coming to our gay spaces. When a straight woman walked into a gay bar and somehow managed to piss off the entire community. She went on TikTok and basically stated her case that she was she says, "Are women welcome in gay male spaces?" Last week, and as you can imagine, she said, basically, let me just get this. She went into a gay bar to feel safe and be less exposed while waiting for her Uber. In the video, she went on to claim that the other patrons were hyper aware of her presence and were making it known that they were ignoring her, leading her to feel uncomfortable. She asked the question, is there nowhere we are welcome? Are all men basically not great, basically? She said, yeah, people were not having it. Somebody said, you weren't being ignored, you were just being you weren't being idolized, explained
Boom.
one TikToker. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Framing the experience of being totally left alone at a bar as being somehow hostile is really not the move, especially during a political environment that we're in. Yeah, it is kind of the age old question of do we are we comfortable as we should be with women, straight people in our bars? I say yes. Somebody pointed out though on TikTok that we fought to carve out these spaces, and while we don't roll out the red carpet for you, of course you're welcome, but don't expect anything more. And she sounded really entitled and privileged. What do you say to that, Jeremy?
I definitely agree with what that person said. I think that they're welcome, but I also think that I've been in their presence where they were annoying as hell or loud as hell and just unnecessary in
Yeah,
our spaces and environment. So I feel like there is uh, plenty of spaces for them to do that on their own and not be in ours. But they're definitely welcome in our environment. And I feel like women, especially, should be uh, like feel comfortable and be happy in gay spaces just because they're usually respected and not like uh mistreated, or I don't know, just like
right.
catcalled and stuff like that because they're around gay men. But it's not doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to kiss their ass or like praise them or like be all over them. And I actually had an example when I went to one of my favorite places just for a really strong martini in P Town is Monkey Bar,
Oh
and
yes, I love that.
there was a girl there who was definitely a straight girl and flirting with one of the bartenders because they had, I think one bartender was gay and one was straight, and she was so loud and ridiculous and really
Mm,
really annoying. And I was just like, I could not wait for her to leave. And we're just trying to enjoy our drinks, and they're extremely expensive there. And we're
right.
just like trying to relax. And I'm like, oh my God, is this girl ever going to shut the hell up? And finally, she just left. And I was like, thank the Lord that she left.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always been critical of gays that don't like women in bars and all that because I just think it's old school. But on the other
Mhm.
hand, this woman coming into this bar thinking that people are going to roll the red carpet out, Cody,
Yeah.
think again.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. I just went to the Atlanta Eagle. Well, I mentioned earlier, but I went with three women, and none of them tried to center themselves. They were there to have a good time and enjoy the community that was there, and it was fine. It was actually very very fun, and all the guys in there were so nice to them. And they weren't trying to make it about themselves. They were enjoying the experience, and I think that is the key there. As long as these young ladies are not out here trying to make it the experience about themselves and trying to be idolized, like the Redditor said, then they should be fine.
Yeah, 100% agree. Oh my gosh. All right, well, let's get into hot topics. There's so many of them, including Azelia Banks says that being gay or trans is not natural. She's always been controversial, but she shared her
Blech.
thoughts about the LGBTQ plus community in a new social media post. She basically she says, well, being gay and transgender is not actually a natural thing at all. It's a trauma response. She says, science lied to you all and told you you were normal, but being homosexual on the more extreme end, transgender in any regard, is in fact a trauma response. No one is born gay and no one is born in the wrong body. You guys have mental disorders that science is doing you guys a major disservice by not medicating it. Is she trying to? I mean, Jeremy has played at Pride events before. The last one I think she tried to play at, though, it was canceled, I think, and it was something happened in Miami in 2022 where she didn't finish her performance and she tossed her mic out into the audience because something went on at that event. But what do you think about Azalea Banks, Jeremy?
I actually really loved her music when she first came out, but I
Right?
can't stand her personality. And I feel like she is never going to become bigger or better in the music industry because of her mouth and just how, I don't know, ridiculous she can speak and be. I thought that she was going to have a bigger and better moment, and it just isn't going to work because she is a hot mess and just screams out names at people and is just so like left field and
Yeah.
does not know how to handle her. I don't know if it's like her attitude or just her personality, but I really enjoyed her music at the beginning when she first came out, and I don't really listen to her because I just can't stand seeing the other things that come out about her.
Yeah, and so random and so extra, Cody, to go on X, Twitter, and post something like that towards an entire community and expect that you're not going to get backlash, and do you not care that you're going to lose a huge portion? I mean, the LGBTQ plus community, if you're you want that audience because we go to concerts.
Yeah, you know what? She was born without a brain and she's still walking around out here. So anything is possible. So she needs to thank science for that. You know what? Her takes have been increasingly just out in left field. I don't understand where she's coming from. She herself is supposed to be bisexual. So how can she even say these things? I think that maybe this is just all for attention. Maybe she has been doing too many drugs or something. I don't know what her problem is, but she needs to get herself together. Because, like Jeremy said, her ridiculous takes on life and things in general have probably cost her a lot of upward mobility in her career. So I just don't understand how or why she can think anything like this.
All right, moving on to hot topics again. We got to talk about Sydney Sweeney, people, because do the gays care about Sydney Sweeney? I loved her in White Lotus, as many of us all did in season two or season one, I think it was. And she just caught my attention at the time. I then went and watched Euphoria, which many of you know. She was on that. I think she's coming back for the final season. She has just been, but then she's been getting so much attention and praise. She's made a couple of good movies, some not so great ones. And then she's always in the media. And I don't know, I was kind of getting a little ick factor because I felt like she was being slammed down our throats as the it girl right now. And so I didn't really care, to be honest. But lately, she's caused a little bit of controversy when she just did an American Eagle campaign all about genes. American Eagle used the word Sydney Sweeney has great genes, almost eugenics, like because she's blonde and blue
Yeah.
eyed and perfect, for that many people consider to be. But really, they came back, and I'm talking about American Eagle, and said, no, everybody looks good in a pair of jeans, as does Sydney Sweeney does. But when a deeper dive went in looking at her past, her mother did a 60th birthday party recently, and did a play on America's Make America Great Again, and used the color blue. And it was just that. But in a deeper dive, it looked like it turns out Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, which that doesn't really bother me at all. I'm tired of people getting mad at people that are of that persuasion, because I'm not going to crucify you if it is a proper, I said it on the show, you can be a Republican, it's your choice. But I don't know, what do you think about this controversy? Do gays care about Sydney Sweeney? Does Jeremy Ross Lopez care about Sydney Sweeney?
I don't give a fuck about Sydney Sweeney whatsoever.
Because I could
I
have told
do
you that
like
one.
some of the things that she's been in, but I feel like she's not yet like a household name. Like as in, I don't
I
care
don't
about her
know, but
as
she
much as
kind
I
of
love.
is.
Not she's not Meryl Streep is my point,
Okay.
or like or Julia Roberts or Susan Sarandon like that. So for me, she's okay and she's cute, but she's not like breathtaking and amazing at acting, and she hasn't played like any roles that I think that she's been like jaw-droppingly good in. And I also thought that that commercial was very cringy, and
Mm.
I don't know, I just it's kind of like poor taste, but I just also feel like people on set didn't see that it was going to have that sort of outcome, based off of just
Right.
the script and everything. I just feel like for those things,
They knew what they were doing.
right? And it's just there's so many people involved that it's odd that they didn't like catch on to it. It reminds me of the thing that happened with back in the day with, well, not back in the day, but like last year or whatever, with Kendall Jenner and Pepsi, and like the whole racial thing that happened with that.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, good comparison on that. Yeah, I'm sort of like, I don't really care. I just think for me, she's just, they've, it's everybody just seems like she's the it girl right now. And I'm like, she's all right. But there is a movie she's in with Julianne Moore on Apple TV, I believe, that looks really good that I'm going to watch. And she is going to be directed in Coleman Domingo's upcoming directorial debut, which sounds really
Oh.
exciting. So he certainly thinks she's worthy of putting her in the film, or maybe he didn't have a choice. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm sure he did though, because he's Academy Award winner. How do you feel about Sydney Sweeney? Does Cody Maurice Doggett care about Sydney Sweeney?
She's not on my radar. I was actually talking about her the other day, though, and I think she looks like Janice from the Muppets. You know that Muppet, Janice?
What? Oh God, no!
I'll
I think
send you a
she's
picture.
really pretty and
I don't think
hot,
she's that
but
pretty. Yeah, but this, like Jeremy said, that commercial is very cringe. The whole registered Republican thing. Like, you're allowed to be a Republican, but in this day and age, I feel like that comes with a whole set of other questions that I have for you to after you say that. So, she's not on my radar, but yeah, people are talking about her. So here
yeah,
she is.
we had to talk about. I mean, yeah, it's just like, I mean, it is one of those things. I mean, and lastly, I guess I don't own any of those, but I was surprised that my fiance likes the American Eagle jean. He owns a pair of those or several. Are you a fan of them, Jeremy? Our fashion?
I don't really love them because I don't remember. I haven't been in one in a long time, but I don't remember any of them having any stretch. And
Hmm.
I
Wow.
need stretch in my denim, so I'm not a raw denim type of person. And I remember that they have just a lot of. I don't like light wash denim, and I remember it's just not my vibe.
You, Cody? No, I can't imagine.
No, not
Yeah,
in the
I didn't think so.
slightest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Let's stay on celebrity one more here, where Justin Timberlake is facing backlash for basically barely singing in his world tour. He's been on this tour that has been going on for a while called the Forget Tomorrow World Tour. I think it ended, but just ended July 9th. And there's a lot of TikTokers that are putting up, like, he lets his background singers sing or his audience sing. And people have been really upset with all that. Well, he just said that he was diagnosed with Lyme disease. And that's one of the reasons why he is struggling with this. And he had a choice: do I go on tour or do I not go on tour? And for him, the choice was to go on tour. But I have to say, well, I feel for him and I hope he is able to get through this. Should he have gone on tour, Jeremy?
I mean, I don't. Does he have new music that I don't know of? Like,
You're
I
more
feel
like, do people care? I
yeah,
mean,
I just don't really like. I feel like there
Literal.
hasn't been anything in a long time. So I wouldn't be buying tickets to see Justin Timberlake, but I'm not really surprised that he's like phoning some of it in, or I don't know, just having it pre-recorded because he's not the best singer, right? I mean, he's not
The
known
shade.
for
I
his
love
I
it.
vocals.
know the shade of it. I love your honesty. It's so great.
He's not
I
known
love
for his
it.
vocals. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely liked a lot of that early music. His solo career was never an NSYNCer. I wouldn't go see him. People bought tickets to this world tour, so it's not like he wasn't. I think the question more is, in my mind, okay, it's kind of hard to be mad at. I would be mad if I went to a concert and not to throw shade at your girl, Cody, but back in the day, my dad used to get really mad at Diana Ross because he thought, we want to hear you sing. And she used to do this thing, and he stopped wanting to see her because she would let you sing. and she would always put the microphone out to the audience, and he's like, "We don't want to hear audience people sing. We want to hear you, Diana." And you would get, and I
I
remember
do,
that just like
I
when
do
you,
hate when singers do that,
I
especially
know,
if they
me
do it
too.
with like
Really?
multiple. If they do it for like multiple songs, then it's really annoying.
It
But if they do
is.
it for like just a part of a song, I don't feel like it's bad. But here's another thing: Diana Ross can work
Sing.
that whole stage with her
Yeah.
That's
outfit,
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
don't think that Justin can do anything comparable.
No,
Oh
I
my
mean, just look at the
god.
Met Gala and what she wore on the red carpet, and she can still serve it at her age today, which is really great. So, did I make up for it, Cody?
No,
And what do you think about Justin?
no. You know what? I kind of agree with your dad. Also, but no, not necessarily just about Diana Ross. But I feel like,
When people do that, yeah,
yeah, when it can be a moment if it, like Jeremy said, if it's just one song or if it's something that like is a unifying type of song, it can really touch the artists themselves, and it can like really bring about an emotional experience for the audience as well. So I commend people when they do it for like one song in a certain moment in a song. But Justin, I guess Lyme disease is not easy. I have empathy for him, so he probably should have fulfilled some of the dates and then canceled all the rest of them. And that's what I would have done. But
yeah,
I feel bad for him. So
yeah. I
I
hope he
hope he
gets
gets
better,
better.
but
Yeah.
I think if people come to hear you sing, so maybe it would have been a better idea to just maybe
Uh,
wait until you're of a healthier state, so that then
Yeah. Do you guys remember when Justin Timberlake toured with Christina Aguilera on their duo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went and me and we went and we watched Christina perform, and then we got into like two songs in Justin's set, and we were like, okay, we can go
we're
Oh
good.
my god,
now.
that's
Yeah.
so shady.
I
Oh
put a
man.
link in our little chat there because staying one last time on celebrity, and the world lost Ozzy Osbourne. Not that I was a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan, but to metalheads, he was a big deal. Well, Rod Stewart is in concert right now and decided to do a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. And the way he did it is causing a little bit of cringe for many, because basically what he did was he put a video reel up to honor Ozzy Osbourne, but it's as if Ozzy Osbourne in this video reel, using AI people, is using a selfie stick. It would be as if Ozzy Osbourne, listening audience that's just listening to this, is in heaven with a selfie stick sitting next to all the people that major icons that we've lost. So from Freddie Mercury, George Michael, Whitney
Yep.
Houston. Are you looking at it?
I'm looking at it right now.
Prince. I mean, it goes on and on with the stuff. Oh, what's her
Tina
name?
Turner,
Tina Turner. Who sings?
Amy Winehouse,
Amy Winehouse. Oh my gosh, even of all people,
Tupac.
Tupac.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not he knew any of these artists, some or any, was that? I mean, was this a good move, Cody, or is it giving cringe?
Oh, it's super cringe. I think I'm glad that he is trying to pay tribute to his friend, but this is not the move. This is creepy. I think that the AI might be going a little bit too far when I don't know. It just is. Maybe it's a Catholic in me to where I'm like, we're bringing up the dead people. We're like trying to hold on to them or something like along those lines. But I think that this is very strange.
Well, I mean, I guess you could look at it as he's in heaven now, so that would be
Yeah,
going towards your Catholic religion, and he's in heaven now with all of these other superstars because he was a superstar. But are
yeah.
you looking at this, Jeremy, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's creepy too. I don't I think it's like kind of in poor taste. I get that like they have passed and everything, but I don't know, it's just odd and weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, and not to mention, I'll post this on our good time to remind you to head over to our Tags Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/text podcast where you get extra content and you can also grab a tier. I'll post it over there. But when you look at some of these, they just don't look good. Like the Michael Jackson looks creepy and weird and
Yep.
not like Michael Jackson,
And
as
it's
does,
like it looks like them for in the beginning, and then it kind of morphs into somebody else a little bit, like their face distorts a little bit, which happens a lot
Yeah.
with AI. So I think that part is creepy. What I think would have been much better is if he showed, because this is his friend, so I'm sure they have like
Yeah.
pictures of themselves and things of that nature, maybe old video footage of them like actually being in communion and just like being able to see those visuals up there.
Yeah. Or just perform one of his songs. I know it's not your kind of
Yeah.
music, but with images of him would have been a great tribute too. But AI is still so new, and Rod Stewart, and it was a miss. Sorry, we're voting on that. Let us know what you think. Oh my gosh, so much fun as always. You can always follow my co-host on social media. You can follow Jeremy on Instagram at jrosslopez, at jrosslopez. Follow Cody on the gram and on Blue Sky at the same handle at Mr. Maurice. Don't forget to get his brand new single, I Don't Want to Fight, wherever you get your music by Cody Maurice. Yeah, exactly. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Lovely.